Hello everybody and welcome to the Tuesday edition of Video Clips. And I've been getting so much good feedback on these informed emails of the week, and I have a couple of them to share with you. This particular person writes about his wife who has Lyme disease and had gone to a couple of different what I would refer to and what the industry refers to as Lyme literate doctors over the years, and spent 3 years taking antibiotics. Both of these individuals, both members of the couple, are eating a whole foods plant-based diet, no oil, no salt, no sugar, no processed foods. But in spite of this and 3 years of antibiotic treatment, this guy's wife is still in a tremendous amount of pain. She's had several operations, and he asks, what do I think? Well, what I think about this is that, first of all, this goes to something that I talk about all the time, which is I think that one of the things we have to do with diet is we have to realistically present the power of diet. It's pretty powerful. I mean, when you think about an adult eats a ton of food in the course of a year, so that's a pretty big amount, and I think it would be ludicrous to say that that doesn't matter, which some people claim. On the other hand, we have people saying just change your diet, magical things happen, everything that's wrong with you goes away. And this is a perfect example of there's just more to the story. All right, so here's what I have to say about it. The Lyme disease business is very large in the United States, and there are some people who do have Lyme disease, but my experience has been that most of the people who've been told they have it don't have it. Long-term treatment is often recommended, but and the long-term treatment is almost always high doses of antibiotics, sometimes for 3 to 5 years. Well, one round of antibiotics can wipe out your gut microbiome. 3 years of antibiotics, and however sick you were when you started, you're probably going to be a whole lot sicker after that. I wrote an article about this, by the way, and it's in the Health Briefs library for those of you who are subscribers. So if you subscribe to the library and you have these kinds of questions, we've got a couple thousand articles in there. So fair chance that something's been written about this particular topic and is in the library. So anyway, several randomized placebo-controlled studies have shown that long-term antibiotic therapy didn't result in better clinical results or reduction in symptoms when we're talking about Lyme disease. 2 trials showed that there was no difference between oral and intravenous antibiotic treatment and placebo for relieving symptoms associated with Lyme in patients with a confirmed diagnosis. So it's not terribly effective if you really do have Lyme disease. If you don't have Lyme disease and the diagnosis is wrong, this is even worse. And the reason may be that for most of these patients, testing did not find evidence of lingering infections. So there's something else going on that's causing all the discomfort that isn't really Lyme disease. Unfortunately, these data have not stopped the prescribing of long-term antibiotic therapy for people who at one time had a confirmed diagnosis or for people who have chronic symptoms similar to those experienced by Lyme patients post-treatment, but who have never had a firm Lyme diagnosis using any reliable testing method. And that last thing is very important, this reliable testing method thing, because most of the testing methods used are not reliable, so that's why a lot of people are being told they have Lyme disease who do not really have Lyme disease. A newer study looking at this issue is interesting because it included patients with confirmed Lyme diagnosis, 96 of them, and even more patients without confirmed diagnosis, 184 of them. The unconfirmed patients had symptoms that had been attributed to Lyme disease based on positive results from tests that are not considered reliable. The problem with these tests for IgM or IgG antibodies is that they have a high rate of false positives for many reasons, including the fact that antibody count can remain high after an infection has cleared. Well, all patients in the trial were given intravenous antibiotic for 2 weeks, which was followed by 12 weeks of treatment with either antibiotics or placebo. During the 2 weeks of antibiotics preceding the trial, 131 patients reported at least one side effect, with the most common being rash and diarrhea. During the 12 weeks of treatment, 205 patients reported at least one adverse event, with 9 patients reporting serious side effects and 19 patients with side effects serious enough to discontinue taking the drugs. Side effects reported during this phase included nausea, photosensitivity, and diarrhea. But here's the big thing. The study showed that patients taking antibiotics did not get more improvement in symptoms or health-related quality of life than those taking the placebo. In other words, there was no benefit, but just under half of the subjects reported harm. So in this case, my guess is, and I've not talked with these people, that the diagnosis of Lyme was suspect, most likely incorrect, while being given treatment that is inappropriate under any and all circumstances. And the reason I say this is today, with one of the things that is threatening human beings is the increasing incidence of antibiotic-resistant infections, I really have a great deal of disdain for doctors who prescribe antibiotics for 2 and 3 years at a time. I mean, it just goes beyond irresponsible in most cases. So what I think probably happened is that the real cause of this woman's problems were never addressed. The diagnosis was wrong. Whatever was wrong at the beginning has continued to progress, and everything has been made worse by 3 years of antibiotic treatment, which has, if she had a microbiome before, has completely been destroyed. So again, what I'm trying to show people here is several things. The first thing is that when somebody suggests 3 years of antibiotics, before you do anything, you check it out. I hear in here every day, if I'd known then what I know now, I never would have, and all that stuff. Well, you got to stop. You got to start knowing now instead of putting off till then. So this emphasizes the reason why it's important to become informed. That's what we do here. People write all the time with this stuff. I say, you know what, you need to join, because that's what we do here. But the second thing is that it also shows that you can practice dietary perfection. And if you leave a whole lot of other stuff not addressed, it ends up not making a whole lot of difference in the end. So we hope that we can help these people and help them unravel all this mess that's been created. But what we have is a misdiagnosis, we have bad treatment, we have a lot of sickness going on for a long time that nobody's paying attention to, and informed decision making is needed from here on. All right, so here's the next one that I want to address. I'm looking for any sort of qualification that would give me more credit to deliver my message. I come up against people that I think who think I don't have the right to express my opinion, as I have no formal qualifications. Well, here's what I have to say about this. First, for the record, everybody has a right to express an opinion. The disconnect here is that this person writing to me thinks that people should follow advice about diet after an opinion is stated. Well, I think that a major contributing factor to the poor health in America right now is that lots of people have opinions. The paleo people think their diet's great, the keto people think their diet's great, and the plant eating promoters then opine that their diet is better. As long as everybody's offering an opinion, nothing will change. Opinions are subjective. I'm entitled to mine, and you're entitled to yours. Choices about diet, health, and medicine should be made in response to evidence rather than opinions. So the first thing to do, if you want to have a positive impact on other people, is to stop telling people what you think and start showing them evidence concerning the right choices. I had somebody ask me today, earlier today, what I thought about a particular diet. I said, well, you shouldn't really be interested in what I think about anything. Let's look at what the evidence shows about this particular diet. So start showing people evidence and then let them decide. Get out of the convincing business and start being in the educating business, and I think you will find that your message about health will be much better received. I think that a lot of people out there have the opinion, because they tell me this, that people who are trying to get them to convert to a plant-based diet are just basically screaming at them. So let's stop screaming, let's stop opining, let's show them evidence. That's what we do here. What will make people listen to you, and I'm saying this to the person who wrote this, is knowing what you're talking about, being able to explain your ideas based on facts and research, and showing people the evidence, helping them understand why it's credible. Remember, all studies aren't equal, all authors aren't equal, etc. We do this for our clients using articles from our libraries, slide sets, online videos, textbooks, and other such resources. So here's the thing. I know that a lot of you out there care a lot about other people. You want to see your mothers and brothers and neighbors and cousins and coworkers and all kinds of people who you care about enjoy better health. I want that too. But if we're going to get there from here, and I think we all want the same thing, reach some tipping point in the United States where we're really, really making a difference and we're reaching millions and millions of people who are changing their behaviors in ways that really change the system. Okay, so if you want that, be calm, be rational, be all about the evidence, and people quiet right on down. Lots of people come to me, not because of my special credentials. I tell everybody I think my education was quite substandard, actually, but because I present credible information that they can count on, and I set the stage so that if people disagree with me, they have to come and talk to me the way I'm talking to them, an evidence-based discussion with some rules about the types of evidence that we're willing to consider. So look for knowledge, not initials, and you'll have a much easier time of this. And that reminds me, I'm saying this every week, a lot of you are calling me and writing to me about careers and courses that we offer here so that you can become more knowledgeable. Let us help you take this passion that you have and turn it into, if you don't want an income, that's okay. You can just be more effective as a volunteer. If you want an income out of it, that's great. There's a lot of opportunity in this field. But let us help you take this passion that you have for helping other people and turn it into productive activity, people actually acting on the things that you share with them, okay? So, love getting these emails, keep them coming, love the comments on the channel. Some of you ask me why I don't post them all. Well, some of you have to stop screaming at me in capital letters about all kinds of things and start talking to me about why you disagree with something and present some evidence for it. So screaming at me in capital letters, by the way, not going to post your comment, not going to happen. All right, so lest you think that I don't think nutrition is important after that first piece, I do think it's important. I think it's a piece of the rest. But according to a new analysis, adopting a plant-based diet would save both Belgium and the United States billions of dollars in both healthcare and societal costs by reducing the risk of chronic diseases like type 2 diabetes, coronary artery disease, stroke, and many types of cancer. The researchers performed an extensive review and looked at the effects of two plant-based dietary patterns, a plant-based diet that included some regular consumption of soy food and a Mediterranean diet. They looked at both direct cost, and those were things like the diagnosis and treatment of disease, and then indirect cost. And these were things like absenteeism and loss of productivity due to illness or people just not feeling so good in order to determine the cost of health care. They also calculated the effect of dietary changes on the number of years of good health expected. So, it's one thing to live a long time. It's another thing to live a long life with good years. This whole thing that I'm going to live till I die instead of degenerate for 25 years until I end up sleeping in a bed in a room by myself being warehoused for the rest of my life. You don't want that. All right, well, both diets were beneficial, but actually the plant-based diet, including soy, had the biggest effect on both reductions in healthcare costs and increasing years of good health. The researchers estimated that if just 10% of the population of Belgium or the UK or the US would commit to a plant-based diet, including soy or a Mediterranean-style diet, billions of dollars would be saved over a 20-year period. They concluded, quote, a wider implementation of plant-based eating would lead to large net economic gains for society and improved health outcomes for the population. The authors noted that the exclusion of all animal foods was not necessary and that a variety of different dietary patterns could be adopted as long as they involved significantly increasing the consumption of plant food. And I'm happy to see that there are more studies coming out that say things like that. It's not just eat more fruits and vegetables, but they're talking now more about dietary pattern. Eat more plants, lots more plants, and things get better. I think this is really great information we should pay a lot of attention to. Everybody wins when more people eat plants. Health improves, healthcare costs go down, absenteeism goes down. I don't miss too many days of work because I just don't get sick. And most of the people here don't miss too many days of work too. So, and then this study didn't investigate some of the other associated issues that get better, like the animals win when we eat more plants, the planet wins when we eat more plants. So, I want to make sure I'm crystal clear about everything. I think diet is very important, and I tell almost everybody I come in contact with, I don't think you're going to get much better, whatever your problem is, if you don't eat well. And this is great evidence that shows that. But there is more to the story, as in the case with the Lyme. So we have to make sure that we're not practicing reductionism in healthcare. All right, that's all for today. As usual, pass this on to anybody who you think might enjoy watching it, and I'll be back to you on Thursday with more news.